Dr. Rick Ramos. No part of this lecture may be used without my express permission. So I want to talk really quickly about the search warrant exercises because this is critical to your grade. You're getting some decent points for both of these, and I want to talk about my expectations. So I've created a form, and it's really an adaptation of a form from LAPD or LASO, what they use on the street for officers. In this case, here are the components, and there's a rubric that's attached to this assignment, so you can really get my expectations and understand where I'm coming from and see what the point spread is. So the first thing here in part one, you're going to talk about your experience in training. Now, if you look in the assignment, I said you got 5 years on, and what you want to tell me is that you have been to the police academy, you have so many hours of training in a certain area, and that you are now ready to explain that you're an expert because you've made a whole bunch of arrests, you've interviewed suspects, you know how suspects operate in this particular area, and you're able to establish yourself as an expert. And so while I'm asking you for this info, I want you to actually erase things like this because we're not going to use that. You're going to use this, and I gave you kind of an example. Just forget my typos, but I just did this real quickly. I want this all erased also and filled in with your info. In section 2, you're going to discuss how you got to the call. What actually happened that got you there, probably dispatch or someone walked by and saw it, and you want to kind of tell me, the date and the time, how you got there. And I kind of gave you this again. I want you to erase this again, but you just use the info to fill in and make it your own. On this date and time, I was informed that a crime of whatever appeared to be taking place. But you could say that in a different way. I was dispatched by our radio control to go to a certain address on a burglary call, a robbery call, a call for help, or an RP called in and told you this stuff. And then describe what the address is and what the place is. Next is really key, and this might be a couple of pages to be able to explain this, but this is the occurrence area. And again, I want you to erase all this stuff, but I'm just giving you some ideas of, you're going to take it down. I got there, and who, what, when, where, how, why, and how. Who did I see? Did I stop them? How did you discover if a crime occurred or not? And you want to really lay that out. And I give you a lot of info in the narrative that you use. So you can juxtapose that stuff, move it over, use it as you do. Make it your own, though. I just don't want to hear my words back. You can make it your own. And show your diligence in investigating the case. That you stayed on this case until this point. Now you realize that you need to do a search of a premises, and you need permission to do that. So chronologically lay that all out. I think as you read my narrative, you'll understand what goes there. Next, I want you to use the resources that you have in the folder for search warrants that talks about how to describe a place, and I want you to just describe it right in here. Same thing with the items you're looking for, and I want you to use that format that I've provided. That's in 4. Number 5, you're going to wrap it up. 5 and 6 are graded together. So here's the deal. You're just going to say, and for these reasons, I believe that this stuff is here. Just one paragraph, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3. You're trying to convince the judge that that's happening, and then you can use these actual words here are fine to use. Next, do we need night service or not? If it's a night service, if it's something that occurred at night and it's not 7 a.m. in the morning yet, then we want to go ahead and ask for night service, particularly if we have officers cordoning off an area. It's costing the city money. If it's a daytime thing that's irrelevant, you don't need to ask for number 6. So I want you to be cognizant of that fact. So I think that this is a really good exercise for you to begin to think about reading cases and moving the information over in a logical, chronological fashion so that you know what you're doing. Hope this helps you, and I'll be posting this for your use in the class. Thank you so much for paying attention.